Well, Apple and the puppies say hello to everybody. I did want to explain something that people have asked about, so I figured that maybe since they are serenely nursing right now, you probably wouldn't mind taking a nice long look at the puppies while I talk about this question. A question that several of you have asked is, who is the sire of this litter? And we are doing something with this litter that we've done before, but not too many times, because it is a little bit complicated. It's called a dual sired litter. There are two sires that were used. That means that we don't really know if these two come from the same sire or one from each, and if they do come from the same sire, which one. I have a suspicion that because the markings are so radically different, sorry, Apple does not like me holding her leg, but how else can you see the puppies if I don't hold her leg out of the way? So as I was saying, judging by the radical difference in the markings on these two puppies, I would suspect that it's one from each sire. And I also suspect that I know which is which because the one that I think this puppy comes from is in the same line as our boy Jamba. And when Jamba was born, he was very lightly colored. The color deepened as he got older, but it did take several months. Now, in order to figure out who the sire is for each puppy, because that's something that's very important to know. In fact, we can't register these puppies unless we know who the sire is for each one. And if you can't register them, they can't be shown, they can't be bred. And even if we just place them as pets, we feel that it's extremely important that anybody who takes a pet Cavalier into their home should have full knowledge of the background of both parents. So the way we do it is to DNA test. Apple has not had a litter before, so we have not tested her DNA yet. So we will get a sample for her very soon, send that in, and we get a profile back. The profile shows approximately 200 markers and which genes are on each of those markers. We will do the same for the puppies. We'll do a DNA swab on them and we'll get the markers. The sires, of course, they've had their DNA profiles done, but the scheme was kind of changed recently. We used to use only 14 markers, now we use 200. So they will be re-swabbed and we'll get a new profile for them. And then it's just a matter of sitting down, looking at each puppy's genes in each of those locations and comparing them to the parents. And you get to a point where you can figure out where, wait a minute, this puppy could not have come from that parent because that parent does not have the gene that this puppy has. There's a whole procedure for that. AKC has a worksheet to help people do it, and that's what we will be doing. Now, the two sires are very interesting. They're of similar type. They're both very nice Blenheim boys, both very well put together, both nicely marked. This one here, Sherlock, looks like, at this point, of course he's very young, it's hard to tell what he looks like, but so far looks like the one sire who was bred by a highly respected breeder in England is now residing in the United States with another highly respected breeder here. And I've had the chance to examine him closely. I've had the chance to see him in the ring. I think he's a very good example of the breed. We did something a little unusual with the other one that I think that Watson comes from. That boy is actually Apple's grandsire. Now, being a grandsire, that means they share somewhere around 25% of their genetic material. So it is very close to an inbreeding situation. We generally never ever do any sort of inbreeding, and I would never do anything closer than this. I would never breed siblings. I would never breed a parent to its offspring. But in this case, with the grandsire, we figure this is more of what we call a line breeding. The purpose of line breeding is to take the best characteristics that are in the line and kind of double up on the genetic material so that you can perpetuate those excellent characteristics. And Apple has some excellent characteristics. Her grandsire has a lot of the same excellent characteristics. So we're hoping to get those kind of cemented there. So, as you can see, they're still nursing very nicely. And I hope that answers your questions about the sire, or sires in this case.